very good day to Dr. Majid and to my fellow friends. My name is Arfidas bin Azmi with the student number 147026, and this will be my LEM214 presentation, which is on dialect, the case of Serbian and Croatian in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We'll begin by discussing what exactly is dialect. Dialect, according to Oxford Languages, is a particular form of a language which is peculiar to a specific region or social group. However, in simple terms, I can give dialect is basically the different ways of speaking the same language, because there are peoples living in different areas and also different social settings, and they adopted the same language, but they speak the same language in different ways, and this phenomenon of speaking the same language in different ways is what we call dialects. So what about the linguistic history? Now, what is Yugoslavia, you ask? Yugoslavia means the South Slavs, and the term Yugoslavia refers to different ethnic groups living in the Balkans. The map I'm showing right there is the Balkans, and also the different ethnic groups living there. Serbs and Croats are two of the many ethnicities living in the Balkans, and the two ethnic groups, the Serbs and the Croats, united with the Slovenes, another ethnic group, to form what was called the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. The Kingdom of Yugoslavia was eventually replaced with the Federal Socialist Republic of Yugoslavia, led by Marshal Tito. Now, okay, what about the language used by Yugoslavia back then? According to the Vienna Literary Agreement in 1850, it recognized Serbo-Croatian language and standardized it under the Slovakian dialect. The language of Serbo-Croatian was used and adopted as the official language in both the Kingdom of Yugoslavia as well as the Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbo-Croatian. However, if we look in the maps today, we can see that there is no more Yugoslavia. This is because after the death of Marshal Tito, the grand leader of Yugoslavia, the country started to disintegrate because of nationalism. And eventually, Serbs started to call their language as Serbian, and Croats started to call their language as Croatian. They began to identify themselves in a more nationalistic sense. And eventually, after massive wars and other atrocities, all republics under the Federation of Yugoslavia gained their own independence based on ethnic lines. So today, we cannot really see a Yugoslavia, but we can see that map today. So, what about the introduction a brief introduction for both languages? Serbian is the official language of Serbia. It has 12 million native speakers. It can be written in the Latin script or in Cyrillic, which is the Russian alphabets, because Serbs are mostly Orthodox Christians. However, Croatian, on the other hand, is the official language in Croatia. It has 6 million speakers, and it can be written mostly in the Latin script, or ABCs, because Croats are mostly Roman Catholics. Now, why do I argue that Serbian and Croatian are dialects of the same language and not different languages altogether? This is because there are many studies by linguists that shown and prove that they are in fact different dialects of the same language. For example, there is a project titled Language and Nationalism, where it is participated by linguists and NGOs, and they issued a declaration on the common language where they have shown that Croatian and Serbian and other Yugoslavian languages can form a polycentric language similar to English, German, or Arabic, thus giving the indication that they are in fact dialects of a grand language and not different languages altogether. There are also two other studies I will present. A study titled Mutual Intelligibility of Languages in the Slavic Family by Robert Lindsay found that there is a rate of oral mutual intelligibility of Croatian and Serbian up to 97%. In other words, if a Croatian and Serbian speaker come and also interact and speak with each other, they have the possibility to understand each other up to 97%. There's also another study I will present titled, To What Degree Are Croatian and Serbian the Same Language? Evidence from his translation study by John Frederick Bailyn. And he has proven that Serbian and Croatian are in fact dialects of the same language based on the single language hypothesis. The SLH also covers numerous aspects. For example, in terms of grammatical structure, Serbian and Croatian shares the same grammatical configuration because both languages distinguishes masculine, neuter, and feminine genders in singular and plural. In terms of phonology, interestingly, there is an identical set of phonemic distinctions based on this translation study. For example, the participants of the study were required to translate some Serbian words into Croatian, and what interestingly found that is that they tend to translate Serbian words that has the phonemic component E into IE or IE. For example, the last word over there, Oseka, is translated into Oseka into Croatian. And the other examples given also indicates the same pattern, thus giving the indication that Croatian and Serbian are in fact dialects of the same grand language. In terms of morphology, interestingly, Croatian and Serbian share up to 99% of morphological categories. Lexical distinctions are also available, but they are very low. 7% of the open class lexicon and also under 1% of the closed class lexicon. Very low. Thus, we can say that Serbian and Croatian are, linguistically speaking, different dialects of the same language and not different languages altogether. The main reason why they are regarded as different languages is mainly due to politics. Okay, what about the case study I want to present here, which is based on Bosnia and Herzegovina? And the main reason why I chose Bosnia and Herzegovina is because it is the only country that recognizes Serbs, Croats, and Bosniaks as constituent peoples, and Croatian and Serbian are also used widely in the country. Now, the first effect of language use in society with the usage of Serbian and Croatian is that language is used to keep people separated. It's because the language you speak is an identity, is a component to manifest your identity. If you speak Croatian, you are Croat. If you speak Serbian, you're Serb. And eventually, schools in Bosnia have separate classrooms for separate ethnic groups with their own syllabus and their own language, which further divides society into very horrific ways. It also creates an absurd bureaucracy because the Dayton Agreement in Bosnia created a 3-in-1 recipe for the country. And this results in sometimes statements having to be repeated twice in Serbian and Croatian. For example, a cigarette package that shows the warning sign actually repeats the same warning 3 times in Bosnian, Croatian, and Serbian. And the official websites in Bosnia also shows options for Serbian and Croatian and Bosnian and English, which shows a really ridiculous bureaucracy for such same languages or dialects, as I like to emphasize. Therefore, the conclusion I would give here is that Serbian and Croatian, as well as Bosnian, are linguistically different dialects of the same grand language, which is Serbo-Croatian, and the use of such dialects give very negative effects to language use in Bosnian society. So that's all from me. Here are my references, and with that, I would say Hvala vam, which means thank you in Serbo-Croatian. Thank you very much.